Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar Elm, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Gordon Duncan, founder of Capitalized Marketing and Consulting, a full-service marketing agency helping small businesses maximize their impact with smart, creative, and affordable marketing solutions. With backgrounds in sales, publishing, and entrepreneurship, Gordon brings a unique lens to helping clients craft winning strategies in competitive markets. Gordon, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you. Honored that you would have me here. I appreciate it. And looking forward to getting to know you and your audience and just being an encouragement in any way I can.
I appreciate that. I am excited to dive in. I always like to start from the beginning. So can you take us back to before you started Capitalized Marketing and Consulting? What were you doing at the time? And then what was really the motivation behind starting the company?
I appreciate that. Thank you. I started out as an English teacher. And so education has always been something that's been a passion of mine. Made a transition into sales, and I just think working outside sales is just beneficial for anybody. And then took an odd turn into managing an eye clinic.
Mm,
And that was the first time I really got a sense of how businesses work and systems work. Then I got the desire to go and get my master's degree and go to seminary.
okay.
And all of a sudden, I just had to make decisions. I was trying to manage this 14,000 patient clinic. I was trying to go to seminary. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. And so after conversations with my wife, reading some books, way back in '03, I left the clinic and started my first marketing and consulting company. And it was
Mm,
really at that point in time, a desire to just enable us to finish seminary. And at that point in time, I was going to go become what's called a church planter. And that's when
okay.
you go to a town and start a church. But I had to finish my master's degree. So I just dove in '03. Really, it was just getting a phone and printing a business card. That was really just
Yeah.
the impetus to it. And I did some work for free to just gain a reputation and then started growing from there. So that was just me working under my name at that point in time. And what I didn't realize is that was going to be over the years what I would always continue to do. As I was a pastor and church planter, I kept a second job just to enable us to grow and take care of my family. And I have a
Mm,
wonderful wife and three daughters. And we planted a church in North Carolina, planted a church in Virginia. And then in 2020, like a lot of people, we were pausing. Like, what should we do?
yeah.
And I, by nature, was a church planter, a starter. And so we had to make a choice. Were we going to pack up and move to another city or another state and do that again? We could do that with Capitalize. I had formed that a few years in name a few years earlier. But really, what we wanted to do is give my daughters a chance to graduate high school and keep those roots. And so I retired from ministry and went full time into Capitalize and have been doing that full time for the last 5 years. So that's a very quick entrepreneurial arc that has a lot of little stories in the midst of all of that. But it started just out of how am I going to finish my master's degree? And that's how the entrepreneur journey began.
I love that. I appreciate you breaking that down. I'm always very curious when it comes to transitionary moments in people's lives. So when you were at the clinic, what was the impetus behind transitioning and starting the marketing and consulting firm initially back then?
It's a great question. When I at that point in time, I had a wonderful doctor, and he wanted to look at eyeballs at the eye clinic, and he wanted me to do everything else. I hired, I fired, I did the bookkeeping, I created systems, and we were growing, and I got a percentage of the profits. And so it was a wonderful system. I was doing well, but I was struggling to do all of that as I was working on my seminary degree. So I was waking up 4 a.m. doing hours of seminary work, Greek and Hebrew, and I was going to manage the clinic, trying to come home, be a dad, do it all over again. And I'll be honest with you, the doctor hired another younger doctor, put him in charge of me, and we had ego clash. And I'll admit I was younger and I was like,
Yeah.
I know how to do this. I know how to do this. And so we were butting heads with a new vision of the practice that I thought was going well. And
Mm,
honestly, I had a conflict with the doctors. I hopped in my car. I was going to make the deposit for the clinic, and I called my wife and I was like, I don't know if this is sustainable. I might put in my notice. And she believed in me. She's like, I think you should. And we had no idea. I had a second baby on the way. But I went back and met with my doctor for lunch. And I said, here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to give you a 4-month notice. That gives me a chance to find my replacement and equip them so that you don't have a misstep. And it gives me time to figure out how am I going to make a living Well,
Yeah.
I need to go to seminary. And so it was a combination of a change of vision in the practice,
Yeah.
some clash of egos, which I wholeheartedly admit, but then also just a new vision of, you know what, I can do what I'm doing at this clinic, but I can do it for hire, and I can go beyond business management. We can go into marketing and growth, because I was building websites for the clinic back in 99. And so that was what really got it, a change of vision in the practice and some ego, but then a desire to grow my impact.
I love that. The ego thing makes perfect sense. And you learn so many skills by helping build that clinic because you were basically in charge of the entire business aside from the fulfillment. And then now you can help other businesses. So let's fast forward to today to give the listeners a little bit more context into your firm, Capitalized Marketing and Consulting.
Well, I appreciate that. We try to set ourselves apart. There's a million marketing companies,
Yeah.
honestly, and there's fantastic marketing companies. But because I was a school teacher and because I was a pastor for 20 years, education and teaching are passion. They're just a passion to mine. So when we have one-on-ones like this, I describe to people, we're an educational marketing company. And so what that
Mm.
means is you can hire us and we'll just do your marketing for it. We're fantastic for you. But on the other end, we've created an online course. We have a group coaching, we have one-on-one coaching. And so I like to coach my clients to do their marketing better
Wow.
while we support them as an agency. And that gives them a greater chance for a return on investment of their marketing dollars. Because I've paid for every course in the world. I've done John Maxwell, I've done Grant Cardone, I've done Russell Brunson, and those are fantastic. But
Yeah.
getting an ROI is really difficult. And I don't want people to spend money into a marketing ocean and hope something comes back. So
Yeah.
I just took that and I was like, my skill set is marketing and teaching. Let me combine those. So we have a program called Capitalize Your Best, and you go through the course, and then I meet with you one-on-one, and then you do group coaching, and then I message you every day through our app, and then I'm trying to equip you and your team to be better, and then we support you with graphics, professional content. So because of that, I work with a lot of real estate agents who need that kind of support. I work with construction companies, but I've also worked with beauty pageant queens. It applies to a lot, but I'm usually focused on that individual or that company who wants to do part of it themselves, but be
Yeah.
supported because they have a very personal brand. And so that's why we often are helping people that way. But I just love to educate, so that's part of what I do.
That's very unique because a lot of agencies that I talk to, it's strictly done for you, where you come in and we'll just handle everything and then we'll give you the leads or we'll set the appointments for you, whatever the case may be. And then they cross their fingers and hope for the best. But it
Yeah.
sounds like here it's more of a done with you option where you're working side by side and you're also helping them implement, but also teaching them the methodologies behind it. Is
Mm.
there anything that characterizes who is your ideal customer, who you love to work with?
Yeah, I would say it's the client who wants to have a hand in the direction of their marketing because they represent themselves best, but
Yep.
they want to be equipped to do it with support. So
Got it.
they want a hand in it. They want to be equipped, but they do want the support. So again, that's why it works so well with real estate agents, title, mortgage, or like a construction company that has a personality. And so we build personal brands that actually market efficiently. And so again, we've got people who just want the done for, which we do, but I think our greatest success is those done with approaches where people are wanting to learn and grow. So sometimes we help companies and they're like, hey, we've got our marketing approach now. Thank you. We're just going to take this 3-ring binder you've helped me create, give it to my marketing lead, and we'll say, that's fantastic. Congrats. Let us know if we can ever support you. But then there's others that want to continue to work with us over the long haul because the partnership grows and grows.
Let's dive into the done with you option a little bit further. So let's say I'm listening to this and I'm a small business and I feel like I need some of these services. What does a typical client engagement look like?
You're talking about what service we would provide. So what we're doing with that is we always sit down and make sure there's an assessment of what they've done before. We want to make sure we're a good partner. Some people need services that or approaches that are different than ours, but we definitely do an assessment of what they've done. And then after that, we would offer services. So if someone says, hey, what do your services cost? I would say, I can't necessarily answer that yet. We need to sit down, make sure we can provide what's best for you, make sure we're a good fit. Once we do that, sometimes it's full scale social media, sometimes it's email marketing. We even have a calling service because some people are buying leads, and we have North American based callers who will do the calling for you. Because sometimes people got this Excel spreadsheet and they just don't want to do anything with it. And it's just sitting there and it's just found money. So it really comes down to assessing what the best approach is for them and then providing those services once we can speak in their voice. And then we value ongoing communication. So we don't just provide the service and just go. We want to set up either that monthly or bi-weekly meeting so we can assess how it's going. And then sometimes the need of the clients change. And when that's the case, we need to adjust our marketing.
Yeah. I just want to make a quick comment. I was in real estate for a long time and actually had my own wholesaling company. And having North American callers is a game changer.
It really is.
It's a lot of people preach VAs, they preach outsourcing because it's a lot cheaper. And I understand that. I get that, and it can work. But I just find that the North American callers make a huge difference. It increases the rapport that they can build with the clients. It increases the conversion rate. So I just want to make a quick comment on that. I love that you do that.
I think you're right. I think there's a new industry going in that. I've hired overseas or offshore VAs to do certain things for me. I don't presently, but I have before. But I think in the calling world, I think there's a move towards having North American based callers. And mine are insanely local. Mine are literally in my town. It is slightly more expensive, but you're paying for a different service than just offshoring your needs. And so typically I find that people don't have a real argument with the pricing. And we just have to figure out, do we have your script? Do we speak in your voice? What's the end game? Where are we going? And then our folks are well trained. You're right. It's a new industry. It's a new movement back towards a bit more of a local practicality in how you offer those services to folks.
Yeah, I love that. Let's shift a little bit to the back end of the business. So when it comes to acquiring more customers, when you're looking to enroll more people into your personal firm, what does that process currently look like for you? What channels are you leveraging?
Yeah, we like in the social media world, we produce about 450 pieces of content per week. For us, for me personally or Capitalized, we very much are blitzing regular social media. We have a personal brand created for me so that it's not just marketing. No one wants that. And then on our Capitalized pages, we're representing what we can do, and we have a variety. We like to do thematic months. We spent the whole month of June working on real estate. We spent the whole month of April enrolling folks. And so we have different themes to that. So we're very social media heavy. We have, I don't know, probably 18,000 emails. So we are regularly doing emails to our individual segments. So I still work with eye doctors. I still work with real estate. I've got a church email list. So those are going out minimum 3 days a week to that. And then we do text marketing, we do calling, we employ all the services that we offer. But for me personally, I love to do educational seminars. So I'll speak anywhere between 2 and 4 times a month. Those folks are coming in and registering. I'm just giving out free marketing content in those. I'm just educating. There's usually an offer at the end. And so a lot of those are with real estate, but I also just offer general marketing. Like, for example, I've got a marketing lab tomorrow for my local town, and that's very practical workshop. Bring your problems in. We're going to solve your problems. That one might be as small as 8 people, but then I might speak to 150 if it's real estate agents. So that's where I like to spend my time, is the seminars, the one-on-ones. Sometimes those are a hybrid of one-on-one and Zoom or whatever the case may be, whatever the platform. But right now we're trying to encompass all of those. And that's typically how we're generating our leads.
Got it. What do you find to be the most effective?
I think the most effective is my seminars. If I can get in front of folks and give them an hour or two of free marketing, then I'm typically closing well there. And since our program is very much interactive with a done with you, I know that personal interaction usually gives us the most. But I got a contract last week from texting, and we are just now moving more into the text marketing. But then emails, folks hit me back with that. But anytime I can be in front of people, that's typically my best close rate.
I'm curious with the texting. Are these people that have opted into something or because I ask because of the A2P 10DLC registration and how it limited a lot of people sending out random mass SMS text blasts. So for you, is it all opt-ins?
Yeah, you won't believe what I'm doing here. I'm literally only texting the contacts in my phone.
Wow.
I'm not doing mass texting. If I've got an hour, I'm sitting alone, then I've recorded a video, I'm sending it to my friends, and I'm not even asking them. I'm saying, hey, if you know someone who might need my service, let me know.
Yeah.
So we're not doing mass group texting. Those services are possible. There are ways to do it legally, but I've got thousands of contacts in my phone.
Yeah.
So it's not from someone outside of. So I'm just like, hey, this is what I'm doing. I record a video. This is what I'm doing. I appreciate you watching this. If you know of anyone that might need my services, let me know.
Yeah, I'm glad I asked that because I think that is super, super helpful for people starting off, is to not
Mhm.
be afraid to do that. And the videos is a very cool component. And they also get the blue text bubble. They know you're actually like sending a personalized
Mhm.
message to
Yep.
them, a mass text blast. Now, once a lead does come through the door, what does your sales process look like? What are the different steps they go through for them to become a client?
We do. It's the most effective approach. We do a discovery call. Depending upon where the lead is, that might be me or it might be one of my employees. But we do a discovery call, which is usually about 15 minutes. If we find discovering that they're not really ready for any services in that, we encourage them to our public Facebook group. I put new content in there every day. That's called Capitalize Your Best. Anybody can join that, get them into the ecosphere. They're going to be a part of that. They're going to get some seminar options and that kind of thing. But if that first discovery call goes well, we might go a little bit further in that call about what services might look like, or we set up something a little bit longer and then we have an assessment they can go through. But that's that process that we're moving folks through. But we also do a ton of follow up with prior clients or people that have interacted with the seminars. I have, hundreds of folks who've attended my seminars. So I can just reach out to them
Yeah.
directly from there and sometimes start a deeper conversation than just a 15-minute discovery call. But that's typically it. If it's someone a bit further outside of my contact or the company's contact, we're going to do that 15-minute discovery call and then move them on through. And that's going to be either me or one of my employees.
Okay, got it. So it's not just you running the sales, there's also other people taking the sales calls as well.
I would say, yeah, I do have people who are helping me. Nancy's amazing. She's just over here working right now. And then I have other people who are helping me. But the way the intimacy of a lot of my leads come, I don't mind. I'll hop on those 15 minutes in a heartbeat. It gets them in my ecosphere. But we're in that stage where we're trying to grow the company beyond just my personality because they are going to interact with other people.
What do you feel like that next evolution of your company looks like? What are you really working towards?
For me, it's speaking more nationally. I've been fortunate enough to have my seminars. I'm in Virginia and I get to go up to Pennsylvania, Texas, and Florida. But I'd like to grow my footprint in that real estate world. Don't get me wrong, I'll talk to anybody who'll give me that platform. But I know that in the real estate world, we do a lot in terms of helping people create those personal brands. So I'm looking for those opportunities to grow the platform nationally. And I'm thankful when I get to go out of state and I have those opportunities, but I'd like to see that grow more and more
Yeah.
because we've got just massive amounts of educational content that exist in social media and other platforms. And I think if people are brought into the world and they find all that, it's just going to grow that more and more. So that's really what I'd like to see. That's me getting out of town, networking with folks, calling my folks back in North Carolina, which is where I'm from. And hey, come down for a day, spend some time with people. So I still do a lot of grassroots marketing, networking, excuse me.
Yeah, that's powerful. Have you thought about running some sort of targeted paid campaigns for the real estate world?
We've done a little bit of that, but less. And I'll tell you why. We are still marketing in a way that proves our concept. And so there will be a time where we're running more ads, but it's not as much of a priority right now because when I bring someone in and we're training them on organic marketing. And so we're showing to them this is how it can be done, and you
Mm,
have the time and the ability to do it. So when I
yeah.
say 450 pieces of content a week, much of that's still implemented by me. I've just created a system where it's possible. And I find that especially in the real estate world, that there's a lot of time to implement these things and create them, but folks have to be trained on the best way to do it. And so I find that most of us have time It's just convincing them that it can be done efficiently and effectively. But yeah, we've done some ad work. There's no doubt about that. But I try to emphasize the organic nature of it to show people the system works.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, especially if that's what your message is, then obviously walking the walk is important. Now, when you think of, let's say, the next 12 to 24 months, are there any specific revenue targets, performance targets that you're aiming for? What does that look like?
Yeah, we've got a desire. I hit my the personal high for the revenue in the company where what month we were in. So it was around August of last year we hit our high point. Then in the first quarter of this year, since we're Virginia, DC based, we had a little bit of dip. There was all the concern about employment in the Northern Virginia, DC area, and that affected real estate, my target audiences. So we had a little bit of dip there, and then we saw the rise come back. For me, I want our revenue to not be as centered on economic concerns as it is. So I've noticed that we're a bit too sensitive to economic concerns. So we have revenue goals that are set and we have a place in there. I think success for this year, here we are with only a week left mid-year. Success for this year would probably be about 1.25% growth, a 25% increase in revenue. And that's what we're targeting. I think we have the systems in place for it. But right now, we're just, for us, finding new areas of relentlessness in terms of getting in front of people, content creation, making sure we're not allowing any of our avenues to fade or die down.
What do you feel like is the biggest challenge you're facing right now as a business owner?
Biggest challenge right now is probably, since I'm still about 75% local and we're growing nationally, our biggest challenge right now is the persuasiveness that we've got to put to people that there still is an opportunity to grow despite economic, global, and real estate network concerns. Our area is so sensitive to any bump in the world.
Yeah.
And so my goal has got to be to get beyond that. My goal has got to be able to make my message and the company's message so persuasive and so clear that people can see that as a pathway. So towards that end, we when folks sign on to us for the Capitalize Your Best program, it's typically 6 or 12 months. But what we've done is we've adapted it for 90 days right now and say, hey, listen, come into the ecosphere for 90 days. Let's show the worth. Let's show the practicality. You get to walk in with an investment. It doesn't hurt you quite as bad. And then we'll just assess it after 90 days. And that's been effective. And so that was a real pivot for us because we were so focused on 6 and 12 months that folks needed to see a proof of concept quicker. And so that's what we've done. So with that, I've added a weekly Thursday coaching call for my clients, an extra 30-minute touching point. I have an app and I message my clients literally every morning at 7 a.m. They get a 1-minute video from me. And I'm like, go do this, like a very practical step. So we've added more of those touch points that allow people to not lose momentum and give us a chance to express how they can be successful no matter what the economy does for us.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then it also makes sense why you're looking to expand nationally beyond the Virginia, DC area. If you were talking to new entrepreneurs and you could give them a piece of advice that you wish you knew when you were first starting off, so something you know now, but you didn't know it at that time, what would that be?
Yeah, I think what I would say is if you're an entrepreneur, you understand the wonderful entrepreneur vision and naivete that drives us. And while there's a concern about hustle culture and those kind of things, I would say two things. There is a way to maximize what we're doing and work hard that's actually effective. But I would say, what's the grid you have that says your hard work is effective? And if you don't have that, you're probably not working hard enough or you're wasting your time. The second thing is no amount of social media or any of that is going to matter if you're not actually touching or interacting with real people. So I tell folks, you can do all the social media, what you do, you can do the emails, you can do the ads, but what is your output in terms of reaching out to people? How are you literally going towards people? Because otherwise we're just doing attraction marketing. You're like, hey, I'm so handsome and I'm so smart, come to me. That's not me, but I can get in front of people and they like my content, but I do have to have a way to get in front of people. And what's my messaging? What's my texting? What's my calling? And that's what I would say, those two things. What's your grid for working hard? You can probably work harder and smarter. And then secondly, how much are you actually going to the right people and actually interacting with them?
I love that. And what's the best way for people to reach out to you if they're interested in your services?
I appreciate that. You can find me personally anywhere. Gordon Duncan, you can find me on every platform. I do 3 TikToks a day. I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook, find me there. But if you just want to connect with me, go to capitalizeyourbest.com. That's really an appointment page. It just gives a brief description of what it looks like to interact with me. And in the bottom left-hand corner, you can click that. You can set a 15 or a 30-minute schedule with me. That's Capitalize Your Best. That's our vision, that we know that if every company, if they could express that thing that sets them apart to their ideal client, you got a better chance of gaining revenue and a new client. So Capitalize Your Best is what we're passionate about. That would be, but you can find me or Capitalize Marketing on any platform.
Awesome. Awesome. Any last words before I let you go?
Yeah, my encouragement would be that right now it's a discouraging time for a lot of people, a lot of concerns globally, rightfully, practically at home. And so I would encourage everybody that every single day, just get up, make personal choices for your health. Like, please eat, drink, exercise. Please do that. I'm incredibly passionate. We'd even get to talk about that maybe around 2. You do have to personally take care of yourself, and then make sure that you are moving towards people, and make sure your message is positive. There's so much out there. If you don't get caught up in the politics and the mess and the gossip, with like those things are important, have convictions on them, but be a positive point in someone's life. But start out by taking care of yourself in the morning. You really do. If you do that, you got a better chance for success.
I love that. I could not agree more. If you have your health, you're already winning, and then everything
Yeah,
else becomes easier.
100%.
Gordon, thank you so much for your time today.
I've been honored. Really, it means a lot that we got this time. I hope your audience has enjoyed it. And so just want to affirm you that you're giving people an opportunity to come and share the message and what they do. A lot of people wouldn't do that. So I just want to say thanks so much for the opportunity. It means a lot.
Anytime. So that wraps up another insightful episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you're a business owner and you're looking to scale your business and really enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.